As Moses said to the Israelites walking through the desert, it's here somewhere. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
My brothers and sisters, this is a proclamation of the Holy Gospel as we find in the tradition of St. Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Beware of practicing your piety before others to attract their attention. If you do this, you will have no reward from your God in heaven." When you do acts of charity, for example, do not have it trumpeted before you. That is what the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly, I tell you, they have already received the reward in full. But when you do acts of charity, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Your good deeds must be in secret, and your God will see all that is done in secret and will repay you. When you pray, do not pray like the hypocrites. They love to stand in places in the synagogue or on the street corners for people to see. Truly, I say to you, they have already received their reward in full. But when you pray, go to your room, shut your door, and pray to God, who is in that secret place. And your God, who sees all in secret, will repay you. And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites do. They purposely look scruffy and disheveled, so that others may notice that they are fasting. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. When you fast, groom your hair, wash your face, so that no one can see that you are fasting except your God, who sees everything in secret, and you will receive your reward in full. My brothers and sisters, this is the good news of our salvation.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So, we open up a season of Lent. I remember as a kid, we always faced this day with fear and trepidation because of the fact we would have to go to my mother and say, what is it that we're going to give up? And that was what Lent was all about, giving up something. So we gave up going to the movies on Saturday. We gave up eating candy. Well, some of us did. We gave up a variety of things that we enjoyed. And these things were supposed to make us better. All it did really was, when Easter came, we went with wild abandon and went to the movies and ate candy and did everything that we shouldn't have done or didn't do during the 40 days of Lent. And so we think that this is what we should do. This is what God calls us to do. In today's gospel, Jesus is telling us something quite different. When you do things of charity, of piety, of giving, do them in secret. Not necessarily that everybody has to know. And as he says, they have already received the reward. And it was the tradition of people who of wealth who would send people before them when they went to the treasury in the temple. And they would blow horns so everybody would look and see as they deposited their great wealth into the treasury at the temple. And everybody, ooh, very nice. Ooh, very good. You've received your reward, the acclamation of others. And Jesus is saying, this is not what it's about. When you give, when you do not let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. And that is so true when we look at our lives. For sometimes we act out as if we need to be approved of. We act as if our actions, our lives, deserve to be praised. That we need to be put on a pedestal. That we must be seen in the eyes of our brothers and sisters as something great. But that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's not about being praised by our brothers and sisters. Oh, it's nice to receive a word of praise from someone, and especially if that someone is your boss, when they say, "Good job, well done." We all need that affirmation. I'm not saying that. But if our lives, our actions, everything that we do is seeking praise, then we are on the wrong side. We don't know what we're doing. We've turned this thing upside down. And we think that the world owes us a living. But as someone wrote, the world owes us nothing. It was here before us. So it doesn't owe us anything. Today we are given an opportunity to spend 40 days in a very special way. 40 days of preparation for the great feast of Easter. But Easter is more than just a calendar date. It is the sum and substance of who and what we are as Christians. And God gives us this opportunity, these 40 days, to prepare ourselves spiritually for that great feast. And so this time of Lent should not be one of woe is me, I am a worm and no man, but rather rejoicing. Rejoicing in a quiet way. Rejoicing in the sense that my heart is glad that God has given me this opportunity to fine-tune my relationship with Him. To fine-tune my relationship with my brothers and sisters, with my community, so that when Easter does come, when we gather together and the bells will ring and the Alleluias will be once again sung, we are ready to celebrate with one another. With one another. Not by myself. Because resurrection is about us. It's not about me. And to remember that we go through these 40 days of preparation. Very much like an individual, say we we had the Super Bowl on Sunday. Well, do you think those players got to where they are because it just happened? They had to go through their own Lent. They had to be prepared. They had to practice. They had to fine-tune their abilities before they were able to get to where they were. And so very much like the players in a Super Bowl or whatever it might be, we as Christians have to fine-tune our abilities so that when the day comes of resurrection, we're ready for it. Because resurrection is our Super Bowl. It truly is our Super Bowl. Because resurrection is not just about history, a fact that took place 2,000 plus years ago. But rather it is an event that each one of us looks forward to, because that resurrection of Jesus Christ is our resurrection. And remember those words in baptism, as St. Paul said, if you have died with Christ, so shall you rise with Him. And so this Lent, let us not be dour and down. Even though in a little bit we're going to have ashes put on our head. Maybe those ashes do need to remind us that we're not here forever. And in the old tradition it used to say, remember man that thou art dust, and unto dust thou shalt return. But let's not go there this Lent. But rather, let us rejoice. Let us rejoice. And remember, like so many of us, we get stuck on Good Friday. Look what my sins have done. Oh, woe is me. How can God ever forgive me? When we look at the crucifix. But remember what the words that we will use on the Holy Night Vigil. Behold the wood of the cross upon which our Savior died. The wood of the cross. Because if we get stuck at the crucifixion, we will never have an Easter Sunday. And so let us rejoice and let us be glad. Let us acknowledge our sinfulness, not as woe is me, but rather as an opportunity to fine-tune. Yes, I screwed up. Okay. So you get up, brush yourself off, and you begin again. And no one knew that better than our patron, St. Francis. When on his deathbed, he said to his brothers, let us begin again, for up until now, we have done nothing or little at all. And if he could say it about himself and the great things that he brought into the church, how much more can we look at ourselves and say, yeah, we got to begin again. For up until now, we've done nothing. We've done little or nothing at all. So let us wish each other happy Lent. Let us worship and thank God for this opportunity. And always remember the word Lent means spring. Not death, not destruction, not darkness, not ashes. Spring, new life. And so, let us continue. Happy Lent.
Happy Lent.